and welcome to Black Matt's Black Legion blog. Guys, today I'm going to make a quick post about removing flashing. I've got 2 rhinos left on my tournament build. I'm getting ready to start building one of them. I'm going to take this opportunity to show you how and show you some of the tools I use for helping myself remove flashing. This is a travel toothbrush. I use it as a brush. I use it for a couple different situations, but for removing flashing, it's good because it has nice hard bristles. It doesn't remove the flashing. I use these tools, these cutting tools, to do it, but this helps remove the debris that's left over. These here, the essentials to actually doing it. Everything else is secondary. These are necessary. These are basic razor blades. Just a quick note right here, I use masking tape. I don't use any sort of X-Acto handle or anything like that and use those razor blades. I use just a stock razor blade I get out of a utility knife from any Home Depot hardware store or whatever. But just a mention here is I lay masking tape across, and it gives me a sort of a handle so I can grasp it. It's just folded over, several layers. I use about 3, you know, more the merrier, better the comfort. Then I just take another razor blade and I cut it right off. If you try and just use this without any sort of real pressure you have to make, then you'll leave big marks and your fingers will get really sore. These here are, I don't know how to call them. They're files. I guess they're modeling files. I don't know. They're really small, and I will provide a cross section here that shows you what they look like. This one is round cross section wise, and this one is square. They're good for different things. This is good for removing a line like on a leg, like a power armor leg. Like you see, if you always have flashing running down the side, you can take this and you move it and you work it around, because you don't want to leave any flat spot where you can really see where you don't want to remove a flashing line just to be replaced by a flat mark on the model where people can see. This square one is very helpful in different situations. When, say, you've got a model with a 90-degree angle and you've got flashing running up, it goes down, up, and then over again. Or this is good for getting in there, and it will smooth out the sides and the base or the floor or whatever you want to say it. It smooths it out really well. And then, because you can't get this round one in that 90-degree angle, so it's very useful. I've had them a while and I use them both equally, sure. So my flashing runs here to here. I don't really have to worry about any along the edge, even though it can be a little bit sharp, and if you've got extra, you can go ahead and take it off. This type of art is really about attention to detail. So what I do is I take my razor, I just hold it like that. Oh, excuse me, praise to Papa Nurgle. So I've got my mold flashing here. I just take it, insert it a little in there, and push it away from me. You have to be really careful doing any of this sort of art. I can't tell you how many cuts I've had on my hands and fingers. Look, I got a wound right there. You probably can't see it. But you see, I use the edge of my razor, and this is why I replace them on a regular, is because they get worn out. So I just scrape it along. That leaves a little extra. I just trim off the extra. I take and then go up the top. And that's done. Every once in a while, I'll take my, it doesn't get everything off, but it starts to it clears things up. Like if you've got a piece, stuck that you need to like get in there and cut out, it'll show you where it is compared to whether it's just sitting there getting ready to fall off. And across the top. Little shoe shine action. Up the other side. Shoe shine action. And down the other side. When you've got a lot of it to do, in my opinion, it can really suck. This is like the actual work part. That and doing basic painting on modeling. I like the more detail. I mean, that's the level that I'm at now, though. And of course, these tanks, you don't want them to look like they were stamped out of a mold making machine, or a model making machine, because they weren't. Another thing you can do is, this is a razor, and it's very flat, so you can run it along and you can cut off certain parts. Like, this isn't really what, this is the wound that I was talking about from snipping it off. I snipped it too close, and the tool that I have isn't very sharp. I'm not saying that. An important note, it is much safer to work with sharp tools than dull tools. If you work with dull tools, converting and stuff, you're going to try and push real hard, it's going to slip, and it will still slice you to hell. So it's much safer to be working with sharp tools than dull tools. But, you know, if you're a young age, you should get your parents' permission, all that legal disclaimer bullshit. I'm not telling you to go and start cutting your hands. But, this is a real good example right here of removing flashing. And I am, like I said before, I'm spending a good time, because from personal experience I know that that's a visible part of the model. If it's not a visible part of the model, then don't waste your time doing it. Okay guys, just a real quick note, since I picked up this is a Space Marine Casualty fig. I won it at Last Brothers Grimm tournament for best painted. It was my prize. But basically what I'm trying to get ready to do is, since I'm making a video on flashing removal, it is a little bit different, but basically the same on metal models. You can see here, I've got a piece of flashing running at power armor leg. It's very common, and it's, I think I may have actually removed her. Actually, this is a good piece of movement. We're up here on top. You can see that there's something funky going up on top of his head. So I'm going to give you a quick little lesson on how I remove metal flashing. Okay guys, I mentioned it a couple of times, but this is where these two files come in big time, is with these small metal figs, especially on rounded power armor. If you don't know if you can see it, probably not, but since I had to back out for focus, I got a basic mold line running down to this side of this power armor leg. What I'm going to do is take my round file and I work it, paying attention to what I'm sanding and how it's looking. You want it to look smooth, right? You don't want it to look lumpy. You don't want it to look, but you notice I'm moving it. I always got it moving. And I can pay attention. Little brush, a little clean. And I pay attention a lot to how the light reflects it. Light's like a big, huge deal. Before I mentioned that you can take a razor blade and pull, you know, like to do the scraping, right? That can happen on metal models, and again, it's what I do a lot, but it ruins the razor really quickly. Got another big. Now this is a good example of why I like the razor blades with the point, the trapezoid. I hope I'm saying it. I hope I'm got the shape correct. Anyway, see, with any other model or any other razor blade, I couldn't get in that space that I need to get into to remove the mold lines. So I'm gonna go down. I'm just gonna scrape it, flip it over, any different angle. Sometimes you have to actually cut it off, tilt it back, cut it back. Leaves a little flat spot, but that's perfect. So and then you bring in your flat part, and then you can do some dragging. And like I said, it messes up the razor a little bit. Again with the round one, I come in. This is actually pretty hard. Now this is the flat one. Up here on top of the head, I showed you that there was a little funky spot. Take the razor first off, try and cut it flush. This is where you need sharp tools, because this is where dealing with trying to convert these metal figs is really. I used to be a big fan of metal for the weightiness in my hand. Not anymore. I love plastic. Alright, you know how we've got that little Mohawk vent, whatever it is, on top of power armor helmet? This is where that flat one comes in good, because I got mold line on part of it, but now this lets me keep it nice and flat.